Hello, it's Cornet Charlie talking about paradigms in particular, and paradigms that occur in the religious context. There are paradigms that cover every range of human life. And some of these are traditions, and some of these are beliefs that it is the only proper way to do it. So we're going through a list in the previous chapter and talking about the things that we find relating to the spiritual life or the religious life. And here are a few more. Speaking of the church experience, believers must be properly under the headship or covering of a church authority, or a priest or pastor. It's a paradigm because most people don't question it. They just think, oh yes, we go to church and the pastor is in charge. He's the person who knows, and he's the person who shares, and he's the person who makes our connection with God, or he's the person that activates our understanding of godly things. That happens to be just a belief. It's not necessarily a fact. In fact, since God has called us all to know the truth and to follow the truth and to be enlivened and to have our lives refreshed into a spiritual form, we then become repositories of the revelations that God is teaching us. God is not one who has respect of persons, or thinks that one person is more qualified than another. Another paradigm, the terminology from Scripture, saints and disciples. There are a whole lot of people that think saints and disciples fits a particular definition, and a lot of those saints, disciples, go back to the days of the first century, when Christ's own disciples were thought to be the disciples. But I believe if you read the epistles of the apostles, that they are telling us and speaking to us the life of God and the practice of God, defining how it's possible, and telling us to be a like disciple. Okay, another one that we have trouble with in certain areas of the sects of Christianity is that how spiritual, how much God can act, how much God is capable of being experienced today. Many people teach that God is very remote, and He did signs and wonders and miracles in the past, but He's no longer doing those kinds of things. You'll find that when you get into certain areas where the teachings have been correct, that God in fact is very willing to communicate with us. He's very willing to interact with us, and He's very willing to show His power toward us who believe. In Ephesians chapter 1 and chapter 3, we are in fact given a very prayer to pray by the Apostle Paul. And he says, pray that your understanding will be enlarged. Pray that you will be given to know what is the mystery of the height and the depth and the fullness of that which is given to us. So, signs and wonders, living the God of today, being the same as the God of yesterday, that's scriptural. For He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Another, I think, troubling aspect of Christianity in its traditional form, which follows a certain paradigm of belief, is the fact that the Christians of today have deleted their connection with the Judaic past. In fact, the early disciples were all Jewish men. The Apostle Paul, who came to the Gentiles and said, the benefits and the blessings of Abraham are also going to be available to the Gentiles. We cannot separate the Yeshua of the messianic Judaic line from the Jesus of our New Testament Bible. Jesus, Yeshua, was always fulfilling the things that were written by the prophets and in the Psalms and spoken of in the Old Testament. In all the feasts he was being portrayed. So to say that Judaism and the traditions of Israel are no longer in force is a serious omission, and it's due to an unfortunate paradigm that the church has become the Israel of God. God has not forsaken Israel, and it's very important for us to accept the fact that we are an offshoot and that we are something that has been grafted in, not separate from. I think that's quite enough for our discussions for right now. It's Cornet Charlie saying so long until another day.